today's drink for the shoot is John Krabby and Co. Scottish raspberry. Now, I've never had a Scottish raspberry before. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if it's different from a British raspberry.
Well, of course it is.
And this one's free from artificial sweetness.
Artificial.
That's a real word. Hello,
hi.
Welcome to the Stephen and Joe show this week. My name's Steve, and his name's Joe.
Joe.
Say hello, Joe.
Hi. I resisted it. I was going to do it, but
you were going to do it, weren't you?
I decided not to.
This is a pretty big recording for us. This is okay, it's not. It's about the same as normal, but I have nothing else to say. So.
I quite like it so far.
Yeah.
I think we're doing well. We've started
well.
Strong. I think we should carry on strong.
Great. So how have you been? What have you been up to this week? What's
so bad? No. Pretty good. Yeah.
That's good. That's
mostly just sort of work and
yeah.
getting prep for things and contacting people for stuff next year. Prep for Christmas.
Prep for Christmas. It's Christmas in 3 weeks.
3 weeks.
Just under 3 weeks.
20 days?
20 days.
21 days, something like that.
But this will go out next week, so by the time that's
there's
on,
less,
then there's less time.
Less sleeps till Christmas.
Yes. Oh,
I'm excited. I'm excited this year.
Excited, yeah.
I'm not always excited, but
everyone seems to be excited about it this year, and I think that's great. I've always loved Christmas. I think it's a brilliant time of year.
And I didn't start it too early this year. I felt like I managed to avoid a lot of the...
Until about December. I mean, in fact, the first time was when we were in the cinema watching Captain Phillips, wasn't it? And we saw the Coke advert.
Coke advert. That felt like the beginning.
That was, yeah.
The beginning.
Holidays are coming. Holidays are coming.
Your holidays are coming.
Well, they probably aren't, actually.
Oh, okay. No holidays
out of all of us, the person who's not as likely to have a holiday is me.
Says you're right for being self-employed.
Having said that, I could just say, sod it, I'm sleeping all day tomorrow.
There is that.
So, yeah.
So you dictate your holidays?
Pretty much.
You dictator.
I know. What?
No, that's fine. You can be the fascist dictator of your own company.
Well, yeah, because I'm the only one who's employed by it, so...
Yeah.
It's not like...
Dictatorship of one.
Yeah. If I disagree with the regime, I can always uprise and take myself over. And I could have my own...
But you'll have to supplant yourself.
I could have my own Stephen Spring. It'd be great. Which, incidentally, is a health-benefiting water from Scotland.
Stephen Spring.
Stephen Spring. I don't know if that's true. I just thought it'd be funny. I
hope it's true.
That's the things I do for comedy. If anyone knows of a Stephen Spring, a real one, write in and tell us, because that would be hilarious. I mean, that really would.
Or a mechanical object called the Stephen Spring.
I think I want to write one of it. It's like a slinky that doesn't work.
Oh. No, it'd be a brilliant Slinky.
a
Slinky. It's Stephen and a Slinky. It's a Strinky.
We've not been drinking at all today.
I've been strinking all day. I'll stop now.
This week I have been watching Wolverine, or The Wolverine, or Hugh Jackman, Ooh, Look, I Got Claws, which is what else it's called. It's taking the story of Wolverine, I'm sure most of you know this already, it's taking the story of Wolverine and it's putting it into not feudal Japan, but it's not. What am I talking about?
It's modern day Japan.
I just wanted to say a clever word. And
Feudal's a good word.
Usually I come up with clever words and they're the right word, and just this time it just didn't
start
work.
Again?
Yeah, okay. This week I've been watching The Wolverine, which is a film with you...
What have you been watching this week, Stephen?
Dad's Army!
Oh, that's so good. Oh, kill me. In our own time.
Oh dear. And relax. This week I've been watching Wolverine, which is a film which takes Wolverine, who's Hugh Jackman in a former life, and puts it was. Then he became somebody in France and sang a lot, and now he's Wolverine again.
And then he was in Australia being Australia.
Yeah. He was all of Australia in one film.
entirety of it. I think there are some...
And Nicole Kidman played Ayers Rock. That's the way it works.
Aw, that's a bit harsh.
Why?
Like,
Somebody needs to play Ayers Rock.
true. I could have said the opera
Are you
house.
going to have Russell Crowe? He just wouldn't be able to get the accent right.
No, you wouldn't.
So Wolverine takes the character Wolverine that you all know from the X-Men and from Wolverine, and then plants him in Japan, where all of a sudden all of his healing powers have gone. And it then sets him on this road. What's happened previously is that at the end of the Second World War, when the big bombs were going off, he was there and he actually saved the life of a Japanese... I don't know what he was. I don't know what
Soldier.
rank he was. He was a soldier.
But he's a soldier in a prisoner of war camp.
I got the feeling he was more than a kind of general.
He's a ranked officer. It doesn't go into it too much. It's not key.
And years and years later, this guy's going to die. Well, Hugh Jackman doesn't look a day over 45-ish.
Younger, I would say.
Possibly.
He looks good for
He
his
looks
age.
good for his age, yeah. But he hasn't changed at all. So he goes back to Japan to see this guy die, which some people might think is very morbid, but apparently that's how it's done in movies. So he watches the guy...
He's going to say goodbye to someone he met a long time ago.
Yeah, he watches this guy die, and then all of a sudden, this guy's daughter's kidnapped, and Wolverine chases after them, and that's where the description of this film ends, because I don't want to spoil it for anyone else.
He gets caught up in a plot.
Yes, and then we see what is mostly action-led, but with some little chunks of moments. You know,
It's a very pretty film.
It's very nice. It's really good.
Lovely shot.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it more than I enjoyed Wolverine Origins.
I wasn't.
Which is not hard.
I wasn't a big fan of Wolverine Origins, but I didn't have as many problems with it as you do.
I have a lot of problems with Wolverine Origins.
There are a couple of things that I wasn't sure about in this one because I've not looked into the history of Wolverine and everything as much as I probably should have done before doing this review. But, but yeah, I thought that it was a good film. I enjoyed it. I thought it was...
It's a really fun film. They do go off comic book lore, but that's fine.
They do
because
go
they
on
did
a bit
yeah,
in Japanese.
Yes.
Which, if you're not ready for, is kind of a bit...
It depends on how you get along with... It's subtitled, some of the Japanese, isn't it?
Yes. Yeah. Not all of it, though.
Not all of it, no.
Which is a surprise.
But in terms of the accuracy to the character, they go off the plot quite a lot, and they change things, but they did that in the X-Men films. Yeah. And so if you enjoyed the X-Men films, I would say you would enjoy the Wolverine for more of that character. It's fun.
You're right, it is fun. I don't think there is as much to it as Origins, and I don't think it was as, I don't know, as worthy a film as First Class.
Definitely not.
To be made. I think it probably links in with the next one.
Yeah, there is a stinger at the end.
So stick around for that, folks.
Which
is worth watching.
Yes, very much so.
But I suppose in some respects it's nice to see what's happened to Logan post X-Men 3, wasn't it? Or 4, or Last Stand?
Yeah, it's after Last Stand, which is 3.
And in that respect, it gives it kind of this bridge between the two. So we've got this history of Logan, which is all the way from Origins, where he begins, and then you can see him joining the X-Men, and then you can see him fighting with the X-Men, and then you can see this post-Jean Grey slump that he's in, which leads him into this film. So there's a definite character journey throughout the whole thing. But I don't think the character himself developed during that film.
No, he doesn't learn a lot from the film. But I suppose the difficulty is Wolverine, in theory, has been around for a very, very long time. There isn't a lot for him to learn. He is a character that just endures.
I'm not sure that's good enough.
I agree.
Because what we're dealing with now is the I'm going to say proper Marvel as opposed to 20th Century Fox Marvel, whose characters do grow and they do change over time. And
what I really wanted to see from another Wolverine film, we saw in the opening credits to Wolverine Origins,
right,
which is him growing through the ages. With him having his mutant powers and being involved in the Civil War and World War One and World War Two, and being a soldier throughout all of those ages. There are crossovers in the comic books between Wolverine and Captain America.
Yeah,
they could have capitalized on that so well by telling that kind of story. Not an origins and not a to do with X-Men, but a somewhere in between those two storylines.
Yeah.
And that, to me, would have been a lot of fun and could have had potential for him to learn more and experience a better plot line.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, this is a film where two companies own the rights to make films on property which exists in the same universe. It's one of the few times that happens in Hollywood, but invariably what's happened is that the two companies won't work together as much as they probably should do in order to make better movies for the fans. And my personal feeling is that you shouldn't make a movie for the fans, but you should do as much as you can to make those movies relevant to the fans, even if they're going completely off track and doing something new with it. Yeah. End of the day, not a particularly exciting film other than it's an action film with the Wolverine in. You're not going to learn anything new, but if you enjoyed the X-Men films, then I think you're probably... It's worth watching, at least, before next year's X-Men film comes out.
Yeah, it's a good lead-in towards it. It's a good time filler. It's good fun.
It is good
if
fun.
you see it on Netflix
and that's something that we're going to need
over
Christmas. Is good fun.
Yeah.
So, go and watch this for a good family-ish... family post-teen family.
I would watch it with my
12-year-old plus family.
Yeah, there. There's probably a rating on it. We don't care about that, but
I don't care about ratings.
I've been playing a lot recently. Diablo 3. Diablo, for those who don't know, is a top-down hack and slash RPG set in a medieval age. It's medieval fantasy. There are mages, wizards, witches, warlocks, ghosts, and beasties of all kinds of things. But Diablo deals a lot with demons and angels and the war between heaven and hell in this fantasy realm. And your character, depending on what type you choose, it's the usual kind of fighters, thieves, mages, that kind of ilk. You go questing with them, you choose a character, and you go and essentially just come across more and more of the undead or demons or beasts and creatures, and you beat the snot out of all of them over and over again until your character levels up and gets stronger abilities, stronger attack powers, and then starts to find bosses, and you defeat those bosses, and the storyline progresses. Okay. In this Diablo 3, there is a fallen star, and the fallen star has awoken great evil deep within the world. Right. And
it's not Gary Glitter, is it?
It is not Gary Glitter.
Right.
It's David Bowie.
Right.
So you're
Starman. Oh Christ! Do we have to pay for that now?
Probably it's copyrighted.
Two notes. We can't. Waiting in the sky. I'm not going to make it any worse now.
Yeah, stop.
Yeah. He'd like to come and see us,
but he got eaten by demons.
Okay.
Poor David.
Is that how he ended up in the labyrinth?
That's how he invented the knife. So in Diablo 3, you are chasing the Lord of Destruction himself, Diablo, with the aid of several people you come across along the way. It can be played multiplayer, or it can be played as a solo campaign. It's a little bit thin on the storyline front, but it's not there for the storyline. It's there to have your character run through various dungeons and graveyards and plains and just destroy demons and hell beasts and carrion and foul creatures.
One of those. So it's very hack and slash still.
Completely, yeah.
Is it real time or is it?
It's all real time. Those playing on PC get mouse control, but it's also been released for PlayStation 3 and the Xbox as well, and it'll go on to some next gen stuff as well, because they've just released Reaper of Souls, which is the expansion pack of Diablo 3, which is why I mention it. And in the expansion pack, you get obviously new campaigns, extension to the existing campaign. So if you've already played Diablo 3, it's more of the same. You get some extra character classes for you to play through the game again, including the Crusader, who's really good fun, and you get to.
It does sound like you get an awful lot for your money. I mean, you've already got the character classes that you can play through each time, and then you can play through as different ones if you spend a bit more money on it.
Also, the more you play through, the more difficulty levels you unlock.
Okay.
And the difficulty levels they get very, very hard as you progress through.
Is it repeatable enough? I mean, do you get to a point when you just get bored with it?
Every time you start a new game, it does generate different landscapes.
Right.
So stuff does change, but you are playing through the same campaign.
Yeah.
So although there is some replayability, the campaign is not humongously long. I have heard of people doing the whole thing in about 8 to 10 hours, which isn't
pretty
a lot
short,
these
actually,
days.
for a game.
But that's somebody going after the main quest and not exploring, looking for the cool stuff going on in the level.
I presume
not going
that,
on any side quests and things.
I presume
like
that might be
there are
people
side
who have
quests.
already gone through the
That kind
side
of
quests
thing.
and things, and yeah.
So people who's just powering, I want to complete this in the quickest time as possible,
Yeah.
and they have to 8 to 10 hours. You can stretch it out much more than that. And as I say, the replayability, the different character classes, the then expansion packs, which then extend the life of the game as well. It's good fun. I will say that I enjoyed Diablo 2 a lot, and there is something missing from Diablo 3, which is it's some kind of magic that was from Diablo 2.
Okay.
But Diablo 2 isn't available on consoles. If you have a PC or Mac,
I think I have a copy of Diablo 2.
It's
on PC.
Diablo 2, I feel, is still one of the best top-down RPGs you can ever get hold of.
Yeah.
But if you're looking for something a little bit different, there's also an indie game called Path of Exile that got released not that long ago. Type it into Google and all other search engines. We're not sponsored by Google yet, so...
You say yet. I mean, we do take sponsorship if anyone.
Yeah, well,
wants
I'm
to,
sure Google will see this video soon and give us sponsorship.
Oh, yeah,
That'll
completely.
be fine. We'll become affiliated partnership with whatever. Google are with YouTube now, so just YouTube.
Give us money, Google.
Yeah, cheers. But yeah, so check out Path of Exile for an indie version of more of the same kind of thing. It's quite cool because you get things like witches and shadow hunters and all kinds of stuff. So slightly different twists on the same kind of genre, but it is more of the health and mana based attacks and powers and traveling through the world in that way.
Sounds like fun.
They're all good fun if it's your kind of game. Diablo 3 is a little bit samey as you go through, which is why I prefer Diablo 2. I just felt it was more varied. But they're all good games, so I'd recommend them quite strongly.
Cool. And that's the show for this week.
Yeah.
I don't know which camera to look at you, because usually I'm in that one, you're in that one, and I'm in that one.
I know, you keep looking at that one. I know, just because it's there.
It's there.
But that one's quite nice too.
They're both better shots than we had last time. So
let us know which shot you like.
Yeah.
Which angle you prefer.
Which don't let us know that. That's a private thing.
Oh, not that. No. Say hello.
Say hi. Drop us a line.
Like, favorite, and subscribe.
Yes, it's been a pleasure bringing you all of these videos that no one watches. It's great.
People watch them.
See you soon. Bye.